outside and enjoying the rain. So today we are gonna get ready really quick. I overslept and slept in really late. I'm still in my pajamas, my little Polaris hoodie. So anyways, we're gonna get ready here and then we're gonna go to Sacramento and we're gonna try a bunch of different bookstores. So even if I'm not buying something, I just really enjoy the comforting atmosphere of a bookstore, and yeah, I think it'll be really nice to just go hang out there and check them out and support local bookstores, of course. So yeah, there's not very many local bookstores where I actually live. Like, I don't know of any. So now we can really take advantage of them in Sacramento, promote them, check them out. Yeah.
I bought a desk and I love her.
I think she's super cute. I used to work from home, so I had a way bigger desk that fit 3 computers on it, and it took up so much space. But I no longer work from home anymore, which for those of you who know me in my personal life is huge. It took such a toll on my mental health. My cortisol levels were through the roof. I was very unhappy. So it's a big improvement in my life and big change, and I'm so thrilled with it. I'm so excited to be moving on from that job and not doing that anymore. The problem is working from home, even though I don't have that job anymore, it was hard for me to feel like I really severed that tie. Like I still felt tied to it, and I still had that anxiety of like, I need to log on and keep working. And I didn't know how to let go of that. But yesterday I was like, you know what I think will really make me feel good is if I pack up all of the computers that were given to me from my work so that I can ship those back, and I get rid of the desk. I sell the desk so it feels different in here, it feels brand new. I think it would be easier for my brain to let go and move on if I redid the space, made it look different, built some new associations in my head. So I thought that would help me. So I was able to sell the desk I had for my work for $100 on Facebook Marketplace, and I bought this for 50. So I pocketed $50 and I love it. It takes up way less room. There's more space in here. It feels cozier. I love it. I love it so much. I'm so happy I did that, and it worked. For the first time since quitting my job, I finally feel like I'm starting over, I'm done, because everything that had to do with my old job is out of here. And I'm already like wanting to be in here again. Like I used to hate this room. I just associated it with work way too much in here. And now I feel like hanging out in here again. And anyways, I feel revived, I feel renewed, all good. So yeah. I think the plan for today is that I'm going to walk to the coffee shop that's like right across the street, and then grab some coffee, hang out there, walk back home, get ready. I need to ship out my computer boxes, and then I'm just gonna clean the house, work on the house for a minute, finish up the yard, raking it, cleaning it. And then I have another piece of furniture that my fiance and I bought that I'm gonna probably put together. And yeah. And then I'll get dinner with my fiance's mom and then chill. That's gonna be the day. Spontaneously, we decided to take an overnight trip to Half Moon Bay, so we're gonna go do that.
could do this. Today I was looking for chanterelles mostly, but I think it's still too early in the season.
There hasn't been very much rainfall.
But I'm pretty sure I just found a bunch of oysters. Now I'm gonna find a way to see if I can get to them. But if I can, then it'll be a successful day. They're one of my favorite mushrooms to pick and eat, so I hope I saw the right thing. Sometimes your eyes can trick you when you're kind of really wanting to see something. And this is a jackpot. Beautiful oysters. Normally when I'm by the coast, I'm looking for golden chanterelles. It's my favorite mushroom to find and cook. I don't think there's been enough rain the last few weeks though, so we didn't have luck with those. But yeah, we're not walking away empty-handed. Found a bunch of oysters, which I'm super excited about. Love to eat those too. So yeah, successful day.
This video was not anything like I had intended it to be. I had a different vision for what it would be and what it would contain, but this works. It kind of ended up being a little montage, farewell to autumn, if you will. There's no real plot to this. I originally wanted it to be a video of going to all the bookstores in my general area, which didn't happen because I ran out of time, and then I just started putting random videos in of what I was doing, and then I went on a random day trip with my fiance somewhere, and this video's just kind of been all over the place, so I'm just gonna take it for what it is and appreciate all the moments that are in here, and hopefully you will too. Soaking in the last, few moments that I have of our fall months as we transition into winter and welcome in the colder months and the rain. Yeah, kind of starting to prepare for Christmas now. It's getting to be the end of November, so it's been a while since I've posted, so I apologize. But yeah, hopefully finishing my book tonight. And then I might kind of discuss my thoughts on the book, and then after that, that'll be it. Hello. Okay, so before I end this video, I did want to briefly talk about the books that I have been reading and that I finished. Actually just the book, because I've been reading throughout this video De Profundis by Oscar Wilde, and I did want to just kind of discuss my thoughts on it before I ended this. This is actually the first piece of literature that I've really taken some time to do some analysis work on. Like, I don't typically write in my books, and I don't typically try to analyze work. Most of the time when I'm reading, it's usually just for fun. But yeah, I decided to do that with this book. I did a little bit of research on this book prior to reading it, and to my understanding, it is slightly an overlooked piece of literature. I haven't heard much about it. It's relatively a short book, which was kind of why it was enticing to me to read, because I wanted something quick. I wanted a classic, but I didn't want to spend, you know, months or prolonged period of time reading it. I just wanted a quick read. So this was perfect for that. I will say, even though it is only I want to say 118 pages, it did still take me a while to read because there's so much to digest in this, and there is a lot of emotion to unpack. So even though it's such a small book, it did take me a little bit because I wanted to make sure I was grasping all the emotions and everything that Oscar Wilde was feeling and enduring. So I did take my time reading it. Yeah, I'm gonna use my phone. I took some notes because I'm really bad at remembering everything that I want to say, and I want to make sure that I do a good job of mentioning most of the things that I was thinking about while reading this. But for those of you who don't know what this book is about, basically what this is Oscar Wilde was imprisoned, and he wrote a letter to his lover, Bosie. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Dear Bosie, that's how I say it, Bosie. Writes a letter to him and is kind of discussing their relationship that they had and his frustrations with it and the faults with Bosie. But in my opinion, as much as this is just one long letter, but to me it also read as this sort of essay that reads as if it is Wilde almost rationalizing his own suffering and kind of talking himself through certain things. It almost, even though it's a letter, to me it almost reads like a diary, if that makes sense. There's a part of me that feels a little unfair to even be reading it or critiquing it, because it's an actual letter that I don't think was ever intended to be published and read publicly. So it feels a little weird to be analyzing it and giving my opinions and thoughts on the book, which is why I have a little bit more grace, because had this been an actual piece of work that Oscar Wilde intended to be published, like a book or a novel or something like that, maybe I would have some bigger complaints about this, because it does lack a lot of structure. It lacks organization. It's very, in my opinion, kind of scatterbrained. Initially started reading this, it bothered me. I was like, there's no structure to this. It feels kind of just like taking every thought that he's had and throwing it up onto a piece of paper. But then when I gave a little bit more patience and open-mindedness to what I was reading, I actually began to appreciate that about the work. Like, I appreciated that it lacked structure because it added to the emotional intensity of the book. I think it read like how you would hear someone talking about something they went through that they have a lot of emotional passion about. Someone is in the heat of an argument, right? Like, they are just speaking, and then they remember one other thing that upset them and they go off on that tangent, and they remember another thing that upset them, they go off on that tangent. And that's kind of how this read to me, which, again, at first it bothered me, but after some time I actually appreciated it, and I think it delivered more emotion. Like, I could tell how frustrated he was, and I actually ended up really liking that. and I got over the run-on sentences and everything like that. And I also had to remind myself that this was literally written in prison, like as a letter, and there was no room to sit there and be editing it over and proofreading and all this stuff. Like, it was genuinely a letter written to be sent off, and that was that. Not looking for it to be correct per se, but just delivering a bunch of emotion, which I really appreciated. It felt more authentic, and I think for it to have structure and to have felt proofread and edited and all this stuff would have made it feel more calculated and too articulate, if that makes sense. Like, I think because it is the way it is, it feels more raw and packed with emotion. So anyway, so I really liked that. I really appreciated that it felt like a beautiful depiction of the mood shifts that one experiences when they're going through the grieving process of a failed relationship. I feel like when I was reading this, there was moments of like fond reflections, there was moments of optimism, and then there was a lot of moments of anger and bitterness. And I think that's what someone would go through in heartbreak, is moments of remembering things that really upset you and hurt you and feeling really bitter, to moments that made you happier and feeling more love, and then moments of optimism of I'm going to be okay, and then getting angry again. Like, all these roller coasters of emotions, and I think that that was really well depicted in here. What I took from the book was that Oscar Wilde was pointing out Bosie's shamefulness of who he was as a person and his own feelings, and not accepting himself, which is also interesting because you notice Wilde having a couple sections about coming to terms with his circumstances and accepting things for what they are, and you can tell he's also really encouraging Bosie to accept himself, which, for context, like, this is about two men. He makes a couple comments about, in my opinion, referencing Bosie's shame in not only himself but their relationship. He writes, "Remember also that I have yet to know you. Perhaps we have to know each other. What lies before is my past. I have got to make myself look on it with different eyes, to make the world look on it with different eyes, to make God look on it with different eyes. This I cannot do by ignoring it or slighting it or praising it or denying it. It is only to be done by fully accepting it as an inevitable part of the evolution of my life and character." I'm skipping down. "You came to me to learn the pleasure of life and pleasure of art. Perhaps I am chosen to teach you something more wonderful, the meaning of sorrow and its beauty. Your affectionate friend, Oscar Wilde." I think that last part is kind of a plead to Bosie to acknowledge that part of himself, and that the world will never come to accept people who love people the way that these men do, if they're constantly hiding it and suppressing it. And yeah, I thought that was really beautiful. Parts in this book that discuss, I think, self-reflection, kind of towards the middle of the second half, I want to say, he starts discussing kind of his agency, and that he has a lot of fault in the failure of their relationship, but also that he has a lot of control in how he moves forward. And I really loved that, and also resonated with a lot of it. I also really loved his discussions of suffering, and how suffering is inevitable, but that we suffer because we love. He writes, "Now it seems to me that love of some kind is the only possible explanation of the extraordinary amount of suffering that there is in the world. Now I find hidden away in my nature something that tells me that nothing in the whole world is meaningless, and suffering least of all." yeah. I just think the way that he addresses suffering is really beautiful. I think that he brings appreciation towards his suffering, and like, I mean, he states multiple times that even as angry as he is, he doesn't regret anything from his relationship with Bosie. And even though he's suffering now, he's suffering because he loves Bosie so much, and that he loves their relationship, and he has no choice but to move forward with acceptance instead of regret, and that he won't allow himself to regret anything. Anyways, yeah, I'm rambling, but I thought that was a really impactful read, very short, so I like that. It's something that I think is really easily accessible to a lot of people, because a lot of classics are really challenging. Yeah. Last night though, I finally started The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This has been on my reading list for absolutely ever. I've always wanted to read it, and I just had been putting it on the back burner, so I'm really excited to finally get into it. I'm currently on page 40. So I started it last night right before bed. So yeah, I'm excited to see how I enjoy this book. Like, I know I'm gonna love it. I already love it. We shall see. But anyways, that is all for this video. Again, I apologize that there's really, I don't know what this video was. It was just kind of random stuff thrown together. But yeah, I hope you guys all enjoy it, and I will see you next time.